This is Changelog 12 for Heist, the 13th in my series about what's changed and what's new in the game this week. This week was quite exciting for me as I got two big new features implemented. The first thing I implemented was this technical back end of a rudimentary stealth system. The stealth system finds the lights which are illuminating the player, and then uses the physics engine to work out if the player is in shadow or not. When I build camera systems which detect the player, I can make them less likely to detect the player based on the light level around the player, which gives you an incentive to hide in the shadows. I have a demonstration of this, but first I need to point out a really obvious bug that needs fixing. The terrible looking bands of light across the world are a fault with the shadowing system for the sun. Just ignore that, basically I'm going to fix it soon. On to the demo. The ring of white light around the screen is an indicator that I'm currently not stealthed. In this case that's because the sun is shining directly onto me. If I move over here into the shade, you can see that as I move into the shade, the indicator disappears, and that indicates that I'm now stealthed. While I was working on the stealth system, I also wanted a better way to indicate when the player is in stealth, because this ring of light kind of sucks. So one thing I thought of is if the player is in a dark area, slowly fade the world to grayscale. Another thing I considered is that if the player is hiding in the dark, they're going to need a way to see in the dark, for example, night vision goggles. Both of these things are fundamentally the same problem. They both need a way to control how the world is rendered. So the second thing I implemented this week is opening up the entire rendering pipeline to the scripting system, meaning that now the way in which the world is drawn can be changed on the fly. This is really powerful, because you could pretty much completely swap out the entire renderer for another one, or change the visual style of the entire game. Or of course you could just do some post-processing, which is what I want it for. Using this feature, I implemented these night vision goggles which take a dark scene rendered as normal and attempt to enhance it, as well as add some generative noise to make it a little more realistic. I also implemented these sonar goggles, which is a significantly more complicated effect, and these are a great test for some of the more complicated features of this new rendering system. This all comes together to mean that I have the most basic elements of a stealth system. For this to become useful, I still need to incorporate movement speed, so that if you stand still, you're harder to spot, as well as actually build a camera system which of course will spot you based on all of these mechanics. Hopefully I can get this stuff done in a few weeks and get a really basic stealth evasion game built. That's it for this week. If you'd like to keep up with the latest news on the project, you can follow me on Twitter as Martin D. Evans, you can follow my development blog at martindeevans.me, or of course, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.